Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's 7 o'clock, and we are live. Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's 7 o'clock, and we are live. Welcome to V-Talks. I'm your host, Veronica Brockwell. Well, it's December 21st, and it's the winter solstice, and the shortest day of the year. But it's also 4 days until Christmas, and I'm not ready. But I am ready for tonight's show, and I'm so excited to share this young man with you. He's 22 years old. He's a singer, songwriter, and guitarist. And most musicians at his age are just getting started. But he's been performing on the national stage for over a decade. He's been compared to guitar greats Jimmy Page and Eric Clapton by such greats as Buddy Guy and Carlos Santana, who he's performed with. And he's here this evening promoting his latest album, Wide Awake. Please welcome to the V-Talks, Quinn Sullivan.
What's up, Veronica? How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well. It's great to be here.
I'm a little giddy.
I
am. You're quite an impressive young man.
Well, when I was listening to you do my introduction, and I'm like, I guess I have done some of that stuff. I've done all of that stuff.
You're like, wow, I'm pretty cool. So, yeah. Quinn, you have been playing guitar. You started very, very young, obviously. How old did you start playing guitar?
I started playing guitar when I was about 3 years old.
3?
3 years old. Yeah. And my parents, they had a lot of music going in the house, like going on in the house. I remember, 2, 3 years old, them playing me. We had this big record player, and they put on different kind of music, like, a lot of classic rock stuff, like Dire Straits and the Allman Brothers Band, the Grateful Dead, and the Beatles, some Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones. So I was just always around great music growing up. So, when I was around 3, they got me a guitar. And
like a full-size guitar?
No, it was actually a company called First Act Guitars. Okay. And it was a little, it wasn't a toy guitar. It was a little like acoustic guitar. And and I played that around the house for like a year or two. I couldn't put it down. And I don't know why. I just felt like I always wanted to play it.
Were you actually creating music?
I guess you could call it that. I don't know if I was like creating songs, but I was definitely making a lot of noise with it, and I was banging on it, and I was strumming it, and I was just, kind of fixated with it. And I would play along to these albums that I was hearing around me in the house. And when I was about 5 years old, I started to take lessons and, find out, all right, I've had this for a while. Let me see if I can really play this and learn stuff on this, So every week I'd go see this guy. His name is Brian Cass in Fairhaven, Massachusetts, at this music store that's actually not there anymore. Okay. And I would go there every, Monday or Thursday or whatever. And he would teach me stuff every week. So I'd go in with like a song. Like, remember one of the first songs I learned was Blackbird by the Beatles. Oh, sure. And so I'd go in there and go, hey, let me learn how to play Blackbird. And he would show it to me, and I'd come back the week later and try to play it for him. And, I think I progressed somewhat quickly on it, and I started to get a handle on it by like 5, 6 years old. So, it was just always something that I loved to do, ever since I was a kid. So
now, did either of your parents play guitar?
My dad plays drums, but my mom, no, they're just huge music fans, they don't, but I have a couple of cousins who play guitar. And I have an uncle that plays. So, it was definitely around me, I think, growing up. I think there's a lot of people that could play around me. But no, my parents, just my dad plays the drums, but that's about it. Yeah.
So when did you develop your soulful style? So you're 5 in Fairhaven. But when did you kind of transition into really creating that sound?
I think
It's not so technical.
I think I'm still trying to do that. I mean, I think, you know,
Mm.
as you get older, well, as you get older and grow into your skin,
Mm.
and you start getting into other styles of music, you know, I mean, I met this guy by the name of Buddy Guy, and if anybody's watching this that's a guitar player, I'm sure people know who Buddy Guy is.
Yeah.
And he's a phenomenal guitar player, and he influenced Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan and all these incredible guitar players, and taught them, and pretty much taught them the ropes on how to play guitar. And so I got to meet Buddy when I was about 8 years old at a theater called the Criterion, which I just played. Kind of a full circle moment for me. And I met Buddy. I was 8 years old. We got to go backstage and hang out with him for a little while before his set. And I just remember walking back there and him being so gracious and welcoming to me, you know, and he just was like filled with joy. I think he just thought, wow, there's like an 8-year-old kid with a guitar that's interested in playing guitar. That's cool, you know. And he asked me to play a bit for him just to see if I could play. And I played him a couple of licks on the guitar, and he called me on stage the same night. So I got to play with Buddy the last half an hour of the show, which blew my mind. I had no idea that was going to happen. And the rest sort of kind of is history. I mean, we'd stay in touch with his management and his team. And every time he'd come locally, we'd go see him and he'd invite me on stage to play. And it would just be this pattern of that happening. So that turned into opening for him, and then that turned into sitting in with him a lot. And then from that, it turned into him asking me, hey, do you want to open up for me on the road and tour with me? Wow. And so by 9 years old, this is like summer 2009, I was opening for Buddy Guy all the time. So that turned into an album, and you know, a lot of things happened from that. So, you know, definitely introduced me to the world as a musician. So.
Well, I was stalking you, and I noticed that you posted on social media that you had a guitar from Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So that was a little bit before. So that was a little bit before I met Buddy. That was when I was 6.
Okay.
And we flew out. Me and my dad flew out to California. First time ever on a plane. First time to California, and I got to go on the Ellen show. And that came about because my dad would email, just for the fun of it, would just email different producers of TV shows and send them videos of me playing, and, you know, just to see if they'd be interested in having me on the show. And
so that's how they did it. Like that's
and the producer of the show got back to us, and we weren't expecting that to happen. And they just said, we love Quinn. We think he's great. Let's do this, you know? So we flew out there, and yeah, I was on her show. It was incredible. I mean, it was like, for a 6-year-old kid to be able to do something like that, it was just pretty remarkable. And she was really nice and sweet, and she gave me a guitar. So it was pretty wild. Yeah.
So when you were 6, did you understand the magnitude of what was happening? Like, did you understand?
No, I don't think I did. No, I think any 6-year-old kid doesn't fully understand that. I mean, it was just happening like fast, you know, like it happened fast. Like it just was like boom, 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 boom. Like all of a sudden I was on Ellen. But but at the same time, you know, I never felt like I was different from other kids. You know, I always felt normal, you know, being in school, being around kids my age. I always felt like, oh, this is cool. This is what I get to do. But I also get to come back to this normal life, because also my 2 parents never, you know, treated me like I was like this you know, prodigy kid that was great. And, you know,
do your home, take out the trash.
Oh yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, all you still do it, right?
All that stuff. Oh yeah, all the time. So very much normal life, normal childhood, did all the normal kid stuff. But I was really grateful for, you know, to have 2 parents that really cared about that, because they, you know, because we saw a lot of other kids at that time doing what I was doing and going down paths that I didn't want to go down. So we were really mindful of that, I think. So, you know, I think it's definitely made me appreciate it a lot more, I think, than I probably would have if I had other parents that were maybe not guiding me the right way. So
you started touring with Buddy Guy.
Yeah.
And how old were you?
I was around 9 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. 9, 10 years old. Yeah.
And how did that work out when you were in school?
Well, I'd get the work ahead of time, and it kind of was easy till I got to high school. It became a little bit challenging once I got to high school because obviously, more work, more workload, and all that stuff. So I but you know what? In thinking about it now, I mean, it's kind of nice because they were already fans of mine, like as I was going to freshman year, and the guidance counselor that, excuse me, I would get the work from ahead of time. He was just super cool and like, oh, I'm a fan of your music. I love what you do, and like I know you'll get everything done. Don't worry about it. And so they were cool with it, and they let me do it because I think they must have seen that I wasn't just slacking off and just like going on tour and doing rock star stuff and not actually getting my work done. So I graduated with my class in 2017. So shout out to New Bedford High for just believing in me.
Yeah. Well, do you have any stories from the road?
Oh man. Oh my
that
gosh.
You can share?
There's some that I can't share.
Right?
Yeah, most of them, I mean, most of them are pretty clean. I mean, there was a couple crazy ones, but I don't know. One that comes to mind is first of all, just being on the road with Buddy Guy and learning from him and learning from all of his wisdom. And when I tell people every time that I'm around Buddy Guy, it's like going into like a history class, because every time there's a new story that he's telling about his life and about a memory that he had with so and so, because he's obviously influential in the blues and the rock and roll world. Everybody looks up to him, and he's also now that B.B. King has passed on, he's the last of that original crop of musicians that really were the OGs of the blues. So it's very important now. But anyways, yeah, I mean, he'd just tell me all these cool stories about being on the road when he was in his 20s and 30s, and the people that he got to meet over the years, and just pretty much indirectly giving me advice, without giving me advice. He would be very good at that, and he just taught me a lot. He taught me to play with everything that I have, every show. No matter how you feel, you have to give it your all every time you go on stage, because it's your job and it's what you do. And so he was very, very aware of that, and wanted me to carry that same energy on, so.
Sure. And you're here tonight promoting your latest album, Wide Awake. Do you think we can hear a couple songs from that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I have my guitar here. Yeah.
All right. Sure. Why don't we play a song, and then we'll come back to. I have so many questions for you.
All right, sounds great.
What are you gonna play? I'm gonna pull myself out.
This is a song called "Real Thing." That's on the new album, Wide Awake.
All right, behave. I'm giving you the floor.
All right. All right. Wheels down, trying to find my way back to you. Wheels down, back beneath your sky so blue. Underneath the stars, shadows in the dark. Every constellation leads me back to where you are. Just heard your favorite song, it makes me miss you more. Am I too far gonna fly to your front door? Will you stay away from me? A million miles between your face on my iPhone screen and the real thing. Another time I've been thinking about your face. Yes, I have. Another time, memories that can't be replaced. stars, shadows in the dark. Every constellation leads me back to where you are. Just heard your favorite song, it makes me miss you more. Am I too far gonna fly to your front door? Will you still wait for me? A million miles between your face on my iPhone screen and the real thing. Heard your favorite song, it makes me miss you more. Am I too far gonna fly to your front door? Will you still wait for me? A million miles between your face on my iPhone screen. Search your favorite song, it makes me miss you more. Am I too far gonna fly to your front door? Will you still wait for a million miles between your face on my iPhone screen and the real thing, and the real thing.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you very much.
I love it. I'm so glad you're singing.
Yes, thank you.
You have a lot of fans. They are chiming in. I don't know if you saw them going across the screen there, but
I saw a few. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so
Thank you,
many.
everybody. Thank you so
much. They're from all over the country. Yep.
So with the cabin in Beverly. Oh yeah. What's up, Sheila?
Yep.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, there's just I'll keep putting them through here because you've got a lot of fans. I love it.
Thank you.
So I know you have kind of some blues roots, but how would you describe your music now?
Well, the blues is something that I think is a style of music that was done really well back in the 60s, 50s, or before the 60s. It was done really well during that time, and I think it's a heavy load to have someone be the savior of something. And I don't think that there's one person that can save a genre of music. I think it's a bunch of people. And I think there's a lot of great artists doing that right now, but I just don't think I'm one of them. I love the blues and I listen to the blues, but I don't consider myself to be a blues artist, because I think my style is just, I think I always consider myself to be genreless because I love so many different kinds of music, and I kind of just incorporate whatever I'm kind of feeling in the moment to what I'm working on, so, in 10 years, it could be something completely different. I don't even know, but right now I'd say it's definitely rock and roll, with some pop and some soul and some R&B. And I think the blues is still in my guitar playing. I think I'll always love that, and be inspired by that as far as my playing goes. So I just I try to just incorporate whatever I love in the moment and just do it.
So when you go to write a song, what is your creative process?
My creative process is, well, it kind of changes. I don't really have a creative process that stays the same, but a lot of times, for this latest album, I remember I had a lot of ideas that I would just write on the guitar and I would put it in my phone. So I'd have all these like voice memos of just melodies, ideas, or humming inside a phone. Like if I was at the store or whatever, just put a little idea in my phone if I had one. and then I'd go back to it if I was writing with somebody or if I was writing by myself. And if the vibe struck me correctly, I would just start writing it and writing a song based on whatever that I was thinking about at the moment. So it's very sudden, you know. Sometimes you'll just randomly have an idea, like it'll just pop in my head, and I'll be like, I have to get that down. So I'll grab a guitar if I have one near me, or if I don't, then like I said, I'll just put it into my voice memos in my phone. So I have a lot of those, but a lot of the new songs came from that. So.
And are they based upon your life for the most part, like experiences that you're having at the moment?
Yeah, a lot of them are. Yeah, a lot of them are, and some of them are based on, you know, people that I know, you know, people that I because you know, there's a song on the record called Jessica that is not about a specific woman that I know, but it's based on people that I've seen in the past and friends of mine, and you know, it's just based on experiences that I've had or other people's experiences that they've told me over the years. So it's very, you know, it's like a big mesh of different things, you know.
Now, I have seen videos of you playing with Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, Carlos has become a very good friend of mine actually over the last 3 years. He is, you know, one of my favorite musicians of all time, and I think
for those
it's
who don't know who Carlos Santana is, could you tell the audience?
Well, he's one of the most iconic guitar players ever, and one of the most iconic artists of our time. And he's just go check him out if you don't know Carlos Santana.
Right?
I never thought I would be doing a plug for Carlos Santana.
I know, but you know, he's just incredible.
Just go listen to this music. He's the best.
Santana. Yeah,
yeah. So, anyways, I first met him at Mohegan Sun, and we got to go to his show and got to go backstage to meet him. We got in touch with a friend of ours knew one of his people, so we got to go backstage, and I spent about 2 hours with him, like backstage in his green room talking to him. And for an 18-year-old kid at the time to be doing something like that, it's just I was like, I don't belong here. Like I don't belong in this man's presence. And he just was very nice, and I kind of had the same feeling as when I met Buddy for the first time, but it was different because him and Buddy are completely different people in a lot of ways. You know, he's very spiritual, and he comes from a different school of music. You know, he comes from, I mean, they come from the same school, but in different ways, you know. And he's just a really special person. I mean, he played me this music that I'd never heard before. And he calls it Wahida, and it's like infused like Latin music with like jazz, and he would play me this stuff, and I would just listen to it, and he'd give me a guitar, and he'd go, hey, play along to this right now. I want you to, like, I think he was testing me, right? I think he was testing me to see what I could do. And he ended up calling me out to play. I think that was like the test in the room to like see what I could do. And I think I must have passed the test because he had me out on stage. So yeah, that was a really, really crazy moment for me. I never thought in a million years that I would get to do that. So, and it happened a few times after that too. I've played with him now about 3 or 4 times. So
that's unbelievable.
He's just, you know, I can't say enough good things about Carlos. He's just he's a one of a kind human being. I'll just say that.
And he's, I mean, just from the interviews, I've never met him, but he just seems like really like real and just.
He is. Yeah. He is very. What you see is what you get. Everything that you see him talk about online is literally how he is in person. There's nothing different. He's just totally his own guy. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we should. I don't know. Can we play another tune?
Yeah, we'll play one more. Yeah.
I like to kind of break it up a little, you know.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of people on here that are wanting to hear you. What are we gonna play?
I'm gonna play a song called "All Around the World," which is the first single that we put out last January for the new album.
Yeah. All right, I'm out.
All right. day. Something's different, it's okay. And I got this feeling I ain't had before. Feels like I walk right through an open door. I woke up with my knees on the ground. Tears in my eyes, I felt love all around. Oh yeah, I had a dream last night. There was nothing but good vibes all around the world. Nobody hated, 'cause everybody was on. I thought I saw the sunshine all around the world. All around the world. You can call me crazy, but in the darkness I see light. I see the people in the shadows coming out, standing up for what is right. I woke up with my knees on the ground. Tears in my eyes, I felt love all around. Oh yeah, I had a dream last night. There was nothing but good vibes all around the world. Nobody hated, 'cause everybody was alright. I thought I saw the sunshine all around the world. All around the world. I woke up with my knees on the ground. Tears in my eyes, I felt love all around. Oh yeah, I had a dream last night. There was nothing but good vibes all around the world. Nobody hated, 'cause everybody was on. I thought I saw the sunshine all around the world. All around the world. I'm gonna be okay. All around the world.
I'm back. Ah,
All
that was
right.
awesome. I loved
Thank you
it.
so much.
So good.
Thank you.
So good, so good. All right, so now we're gonna talk about the last couple of years. I want to hear from you how the pandemic has affected your career.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, it's definitely greatly affected touring.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely been an adjustment to not be on so actively touring on the road all the time. And I've tried to, had to find ways to do what I do at home. And I think the live, what we're doing right now is kind of a perfect example of it. Like I've definitely been doing a lot of live streaming and that sort of thing, but nothing beats being in a room with everybody playing and people seeing you face to face. And it's been a drag, definitely been a huge drag to not be able to do that, but I think things are opening up, and obviously this year is a lot different than last year. And everything is kind of coming back. So, fingers crossed for 2022. That's all I'm going to say. But, but it's definitely left me, at times feeling a little bit worried on what's happening and, everything going on. But I think that's everybody. you know, so I'm kind of in the same boat as everybody else, you know.
I mean, yeah, we talked about that. We thought it was going to be a month, 2 months, 3 months, and
Yeah.
we're coming up on 2 years.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's pretty
so
heavy stuff. Yeah.
it really is. But now I wanted to ask you: Did you did you write Wide Awake during the pandemic?
Everything was written before the pandemic, actually.
Oh,
Everything,
okay,
yeah, everything was, yeah. So I luckily finished the album in early 2020. So January it
okay,
was done, and I
okay.
recorded it in 2019, in
All
about
right.
6 to 8 months. And I recorded it in Los Angeles with a producer named Oliver Lieber at his home studio in LA. So we wrote the whole thing together, co-wrote the whole thing, and yeah, I mean, and I also have to mention for all the musicians that are watching this, Abel Boreal Jr. played on it, and he's a great drummer who plays with Paul McCartney, and Aaron Sterling, who plays with John Mayer, who also played drums on some of this. Just a lot of great people that were a part of this record, you know. So yeah, very happy to have those people on board.
And where were most of your music videos made?
A lot of them were made actually in New York, which we were just
Okay.
talking about, and
Hmm.
yeah, like one of them was made in the Bronx at the Bronx Library, the How Many Tears music video with me and the dancer. That the
Yeah, beautiful space.
Matilda Sakamoto, yeah, she's incredible, and I think she made the video just so much better than it was gonna be. You know, I think it was just she added so much coolness to it. So, and then we shot the one for All Around the World in Jersey City,
Right.
and yeah, and it was just a lot of fun shooting these videos. But at the same time, we were like, well, because we were shooting the videos during pandemic time, so we had to, you know, mask up and stay safe and social distance as we were doing it. So it was just kind of crazy to do this kind of stuff in a pandemic. But I think, you know, always been hopeful about stuff, and you know, always thinking ahead. So hopefully things will, you know, kind of stabilize, and we'll be able to go back to what, you know, going on the road and playing all the time, and you know, because that's the bread and butter of what we do, you know, as artists.
Well, and the music industry has changed so much, right? So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
talk to me about that as well. Like where.
Well, I mean, the last 10, 15 years, you know, there's been a lot of change with streaming, and that's
Mhm,
kind of like the basically the, you know, what radio is now is streaming,
mhm,
you know, and what radio used to be is not what it is anymore. So
mhm.
artists we're having to figure out different ways to get through the wormholes of the music industry. Um, and it's a crazy industry, you know. It's a lot of phony people in this industry, in this world, you know. And you have to have a good read on people and make sure that, you know, people aren't pushing you in directions that you don't want to be going in. And you have to be really, you know, sometimes you have to just be assertive in that way. So it's been a big learning experience for me. You know, I'm still learning
Mhm.
so much about it, and every day. So I'm
And you
just
have
trying.
advisors that help you with that?
Yeah, I have a great manager,
Mhm.
and I have, yeah, some just people in my life that are really good at teaching me this stuff and guiding me.
Yeah. Well, and I
Yeah.
don't think it matters how old you are. You can, you know, fall into a bad trap, and
Hmm.
not understand what's going on. So,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And
yeah.
I've been through just about everything that you could go through that could go wrong, you know, in a musician's career, you know. So I've
Can you
just
give
learned a
me some
lot.
examples?
You know, just different management gone wrong, you know, like learning what's right for you and what's not right for you. You know,
Mhm.
nothing crazy, but just you know, some people are just not the right fit sometimes, you know, and for you know, and you just have to pick the people that are supporting you and giving you what you want to be, you know, giving you the right, you know, cliff notes to do this right, you know.
Well, we were talking about this earlier before we started the show, just about image and how,
Mm,
some
yeah.
companies try to force you into an image that isn't you.
No, not at all. And you know, I've been really gracious and very, you know, lucky that it hasn't turned into that for me. You know, it's been very everything's been very like this. It's never been like that. It's always been gradual. So it's been a nice thing to do that, and not have, it being all this pressure all of a sudden. It's been very gradual, and every step of the way feels like a new step. And it's like climbing a ladder, but I'm not climbing it too fast,
So Quinn, aside from being on Ellen, I noticed that you've been on a lot of television shows.
Yeah.
Jay Leno.
Yes, Jay Leno.
Conan, O'Brien. So many.
Yep.
Can we hear about some of these experiences that you had?
Yeah. Well, the Tonight Show, that was when it was still Jay Leno when I was on the Tonight Show. So he was awesome because he's from around here. So the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, you're from New Bedford. Cool. I know that. I know New Bedford." Yeah. And it was great. I was really, a lot of these shows that you go on, you don't really get to see them too much, like the host of the show. Mm-hmm. And, so with Jimmy Fallon, it was like, I only saw him while we were taping, but Conan was really cool. When I got to go on Conan, that was really fun because Conan's actually a guitar player. So right away we got on talking about guitars and talking about, different kinds of guitars and whatever, and just geeking out. And he was really nice, and he was actually one of the nicest ones to me. He was really cool. And so I've had a lot of great experiences with that, over the last decade, being on TV, and it's really crazy to think about sometimes that I've done all of that. It's really, really something. So I'm super, just super thankful for the opportunity.
Well, there's going to be more of it. I'm absolutely sure of that.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah,
absolutely. So you are you're getting ready to go on tour again, right?
Yeah, we're actually going to be touring with Beth Hart, actually, who's another incredible singer-songwriter that's actually on the same label as me. And we're hitting the road in February, and starting in Santa Rosa, California, and going all the way through to Boston on March 9th and March 10th.
Okay. So for like 6 weeks?
Yeah. It's a good month and a half. Yeah. So cross country, we're driving. My dad's driving the truck, and we're just gonna go do it.
Does your dad does he normally go with you?
Yeah. He's totally my tour manager when we're on the road. He's awesome. Yeah. I honestly, I couldn't do what I do without him, because he's like obviously my biggest support personally. But professionally, he's incredible, and he's really good with numbers and business stuff that I don't have to really worry about. So he handles a lot of that stuff for me, which is I'm very thankful for that. So it's just we have a fun time together. We bicker like father and son, but at the end of the day, I mean, we just we know what the goal is, and we take it on and we do it. Yeah.
Do you have any rituals that you do before you perform?
Nothing too crazy. I do some vocal warm-ups, some weird sounding warm-ups that people will probably, there's some stuff. I mean, there's a lot of ahs and e's and o's and ah, ee, ooh, a lot of that stuff, that I do. And it warms up the vocal. It just warms up because this is this is to me, this all comes easy, this stuff. The guitar playing part of it is just, I don't have to think about it. It just happens. But with my vocal, I do have to think about it, because if you lose your voice, it's a whole other machine. You can't really, unless you break your arm or break your finger. So, you're pretty much always fine, and I've got youth on my side. So there's no arthritis right now. So I don't worry about that too much. But with singing, it's different because it's an actual muscle that you're working all the time. So you have to keep it in shape, and you have to really work at it. Some singers are just naturally great singers, and they just have that, if you think of people like Rod Stewart, or people that, just have the naturally great voice, and they probably don't work at it that much. It's just, they're Mick Jagger, just one of these cool people, Aretha Franklin, just vocalists that are insane. But yeah, it's always a work in progress for me to make sure that this is running correctly. So, it's important that I do that before every show. Sometimes I'm lazy and won't do it, but I notice the times that I do it, and then I notice the times I don't do it. And I notice the difference in my performance from from not doing it. So
Sure.
I think that's a lesson or advice that I give to any singer out there.
So when you are performing, like you've performed obviously a lot in 10 over the last 10 or 12 years, but do you have any memorable performances?
Yeah, I mean, the one that comes to mind for me is being able to play Eric Clapton's Crossroads Guitar Festival in 2013 at Madison Square Garden in New York. Yeah, and it was insane. I mean, every single guitar player you could think of was there. I mean, it was, Eric Clapton, Greg Allman, Jeff Beck, Buddy Guy, B.B. King, you know, Gary Clark Jr., Derek Trucks, Warren Haynes, John Mayer, Keith Urban. So all these people were there.
And did you get to meet a lot of them?
I met most of them. Yeah, I met all of them. Yeah. And
oh my goodness!
And that was like even cooler in some ways than playing it. I mean, obviously playing it, but if I didn't get to play and I just got to be there and meet all those people, it would have been the same. Like it wouldn't have been any different for me. Like I would have been fine with just meeting these people. But I got to play, and it was amazing, and it was so cool. And I just, these guys. I had posters of these guys. Like Eric Clapton is like my hero, and I'm standing on stage with him. It's ridiculous.
You're probably like, could you sign my arm?
Yeah. Well, I've got as you can see, I have literally a poster of him, right here. So, I just look at these moments in time, and I'm just like, I can't believe I got to do some of this stuff. I like look back sometimes and just go, my gosh. I mean, it's just been a whirlwind of experiences over the years. I've been very lucky. Yeah.
Well, you've been lucky, but you've worked really, really hard. And this is your, this is your life.
Yeah.
And regarding that, do you have any hobbies outside of music?
Well, I mean, I do spend a lot of time doing this, so I don't get a ton of time really in normal life to do a lot of different things, but I find time. I just like doing regular kid stuff, 22-year-old kid stuff, going out with my friends, traveling, and I like photography. I'm into photography. I like taking pictures and stuff, and I consider myself an artsy person. So, but I don't really play sports. Like I play for fun, with friends, but I don't really.
Sure.
Never been good at it. I've always just stuck to music. I definitely wasn't I wasn't the star of the football team in high school.
Well, you didn't have time.
I didn't have time. No, I was always. Yeah. So, but I've just always been about music, and just trying to discover different ways of playing the guitar and just trying to be creative,
Right.
Yeah.
So, what's on your playlist right now? Ooh. What do you listen to?
I have to look at my phone for that. I have my phone right here.
Take a look. I want to hear.
There's my playlist is always changing. Let's see. Right now, I'm listening to a lot of Tame Impala right now. I think that they're a really cool band that has been around the last 5 years, 10 years. And they're really cool. I like Mac DeMarco a lot. He's a really cool artist that I've been checking out recently. This other guy, Ariel Posen, he's a Canadian artist that's really cool. Mm-hmm. He just dropped a really cool record. Let's see. Krungbin is another one that I love. I'm scrolling down my Spotify here.
I know. I want people,
The new Bruno Mars album is sick with Anderson .Paak. That's a sick album.
Okay.
Cautious Clay is another artist that I love. And then, I go back to like the Beatles and, Sly and the Family Stone and a lot of like soul stuff. Like I love Al Green and Curtis Mayfield and, all that stuff. I just love listening to different stuff. Aretha Franklin has been on my playlist recently. Leon Bridges, a lot of people.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So you are getting ready to go on tour and you just dropped your album. What's next? for
Well,
you?
what's next? I think now that you say I've got a new album going on tour, I do have a lot of things that are on my plate, for 2022. I feel thankful because a lot of people don't know the next time they're even playing a show because everything's getting so mismatched, So I feel lucky that I'm on a tour, that I'm booked to play. So if all goes well, I will be touring and playing across cities in North America. But I just I try to stay in the moment, as much as I can. I try not to think too much ahead of like what I've got going on at the moment. But I think, I definitely see myself making more music in 2022, maybe putting out a new single at some point. But this record just came out in June, so I've just been really just focused and into this new album. And we've really only touched the surface on it. Like we've only played maybe 10 shows on this album. So we've got a lot of touring to do and a lot of people to play this music for. So.
And Quinn, what advice would you give an up and coming musician?
Man, I get asked this sometimes, and I always want to say it correctly. I think if you really love what you do, then continue doing it. But make sure you're always doing it because you love it, not because you don't want to, do it for some reason. Like I think a lot of people get into this industry and they don't necessarily, they love certain parts of it, but they don't love it for the right reasons. And I think you have to really love this and believe in yourself. You have to have a lot of belief in yourself, because I think this industry, every industry is filled with really mean people that will talk to you like you don't know what you're talking about, or like, say that you aren't talented enough or you don't have what it takes. And, believe it or not, people have said that to me, so it definitely, nothing is perfect, so I think just believing in yourself, having that belief will get you where you want to go, I think. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, if people want to hear your music, what do they need to do?
Well, they need to go to my website, quinnsullivanmusic.com. If they want to get I'm selling vinyl, which is really cool. Vinyl's coming back, which is amazing. Yeah.
But you need the device to play it on. Can you buy
it? You do, yeah. You do.
How does that work?
Some people use it as collectibles too. They kind of like to hold it in their hand and stuff. But
even I don't have a record player.
You should get one. You should get.
I don't wear.
There's a bunch. There's Urban Outfitters actually sells them, which is crazy. That store,
really?
Urban Outfitters, they do, and I've noticed. Not to get off topic here, but I've noticed a lot of my friends that are in college now, a lot of them have vinyl players in their dorms. Like, it's amazing. Like, a lot of my friends, believe it or not, have record players. So I think that's a positive sign for music. I think people like it. I think it's, you can really, like I said, you could see it and hold it in your hands, and you can really, I think it's just, I think it just sounds different when you listen on a record player versus listening on Spotify and stuff. But
I think so.
Yeah,
I had plenty of albums, and they were big, and you had the picture, and then you had the words to the songs inside, and you had more pictures inside, and it was great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I come from two parents that are very old school with that, so they brought me up to love that and appreciate it. But anyways, I mean, you can also do that, but obviously Spotify, Apple Music, all the stream, Amazon Music, all of that. The new album is on all of those platforms. So go check it out. If you haven't already, go listen to it.
Well, I am so grateful that you took the time to be on this podcast. It's been wonderful to see the response from all of your fans. I know they're all so excited about your tour and can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you. I will see you.
Yes.
When you play somewhere close. I will.
Please let me know. Yeah,
I know, right? Like maybe I could like get backstage and be like, oh.
Please let me know. Please let me know. Yeah, we're gonna. If anybody's on here from Boston, we will be at the Wilbur Theater in Boston on March 9th and 10th.
So, really? And
Yeah.
how would you get tickets for that?
I believe you can go to my website, quinnsullivanmusic.com/tour, and
Okay.
then go to the date that you want to go to, and then just click tickets, and then it'll
Mhm.
bring you to a link to get tickets to the show. So
And for those of you watching, I have his website on the ticker there. So
sweet.
yes. All righty. Well, my friend, we are. Do you have anything else?
No,
Just tell your
this was
fans, like you have
well.
so many, like you've 115 comments.
Well, thank you guys. I just want to say,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I wanted to see you a lot more than I did this year, and we just couldn't make it happen. But I'm hoping for a great 2022, and I'm hoping to see everybody and hopefully be able to be in the same room with everybody again. So yeah, I love you guys very much. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Veronica for having me. This is awesome. I really appreciate it. So it's good.
All
Yeah.
right, my friend, have a happy holiday, and I'm going to see you in March.
Yes, please come
All
out. You
right,
too.
I
Thank you
will.
so much.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye, honey.
Cool. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Quinn Sullivan. He's so talented, and I'm so grateful that he was on the show. Next week, next Tuesday night at 7:00, we will have Dr. Michael Wild. He is a monthly contributor, and we will be talking about managing through the pandemic and the new virus, and how we can have a stronger immune system and try to maneuver through this. So anyway, thank you so much, and have a good evening. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.